Hey YouTube, Sack Guy here. I want to talk today about a Case Copperhead folding knife. I have three of them here. One I bought in 1972. Another I bought in 1981, and the third one I bought around 1996. So let me get started. This is my favorite pattern of case knives. Let's get some of the specs out of the way. That's a newer one. Overall length, when opened, is 7 inches. When it's closed, it is 3 7/8 inches. Now, your main clip blade from the hilt to the tip is 3 1/4 inches, or just under 3 1/4 inches. But from the Rizzo, right here, your actual cutting edge is 2 3/4 inches. The pen blade, the actual cutting edge is 2 inches, but from the hilt again is 2 1/4 inches. This is a two blade pen knife. And even though they're the same pattern, this case knife is a 6.249 and this is a 3.249. And for those of you who know anything about case knives, the first number refers to the scales, the second number is the number of blades, and the last two numbers are normally the model number. Now, the Copperhead weighs 3.8 ounces. To me, it's not a very heavy knife. And the way you can tell when a knife was made, hopefully we can get focused on that there. You'll see the dots where it says, let's see here, it should say Case XX USA, and then under it are the dots. That's for the 70s. For the 80s, it would have the dots in between Case and USA. And then in the 90s, for a couple of years, let's see here, you'll be able to see the dots there. The Case has got a script to it, and then it says USA and then the dots under it. For about 2 years it had the actual date on it. And this knife is the one I got in 72. This was in 1980, and then this was in 96. Pull these over here. This knife I bought when I was in Alaska. At the time, I was waiting to go to my radar site that I was assigned to. I was in the day room of the transit quarters waiting for a flight out, and I had a large buck rancher and it fell out of my pocket there when I was sitting in a chair in the day room. Someone else found it after I left. When I came back, someone had told me that someone else had found it. They didn't know who it was. I went to the exchange. They didn't have any more Buck Ranchers, but I was looking at the case. They only had some case knives there. I was looking at the ones that they had, and this one caught my eye. Now, I like the clip. I prefer a clip point on most of my knives. Can't get it on a Swiss Army, so but my other knives I prefer to have a clip point. And when I was up in Alaska, I used this to cut. We would get our supplies in boxes. We'd cut up the cardboard and so on to use for different things. I used my knife for that. Used it for cutting cordage. Anyone who's ever been in the military, been in a chow hall, they don't have steak knives. So in the Air Force, they like to give us, especially at a remote site, we used to get a steak dinner every Sunday. Just about everybody would pull their pocket knife out and use it to cut their steak. Now, on the back of the blade here, you can see the model number. You there are no markings on this one. Now, this particular knife, the steel on it is what Case calls True Sharp. It's basically a carbon steel. As you can see, it's got a little bit of patina to it. And as you can see on this one, there's a little bit of patina on the base of the blade there, but for the most part, nothing. Mainly because this knife has stayed in a drawer most of the time. I bought it because I was going to retire the other knife, but there was just something about that patina on it that I like carrying it around. And then on this knife, it is, you look on it here, has the model number in CV, which means chrome valium, which is a version of their stainless steel, I believe. And I did carry this one a bit, but didn't get any patina on it like the other did. So it's more of a stainless steel. And that is it. I hope you enjoyed this. Showing you an old Case Copperhead. In the late 90s, Case, for whatever reason, decided to stop making this model. If you can find them, they're going for a pretty penny. When I bought this one, it was $4.50 in 1972. When I bought this one in 81, it was running around $12. In the 90s, I believe I paid around $25 or so for this particular one. Main reason I bought it is I just like the yellow scales. And then I found out later they stopped making it. It wasn't long after I bought this that they discontinued the model. So, as I said, one of my, not one, but the favorite model that Case made that I liked. I don't have too many Case knives. I have a couple. But to me, this was the knife to beat. I carried it for probably about close to 10 years before I retired it. Even after I got my Swiss Army knives, started collecting them in the late 80s. The late 70s. I was still very fond of this knife and would carry it quite often. It would go into my rotation that I had at the time. And that is it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more videos about knives and gear, please subscribe below, and you can follow me on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter. This is the Sack Guy. Remember, always be prepared.